Shalom. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. That will honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as other elders that belong to other camps that teach the same doctrine. Salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, in the sincere spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. My name is Makara, and this will be a lesson on racist but not prejudice. Alright, so I'm gonna grab the definition of racist first. It says, a person who believes in racism, the doctrine that one's own racial group is superior or that a particular racial group is inferior to the others. Alright, so according to the scriptures, it's permitted to be racist. Alright, because it basically means to be for your race, to have an understanding of your race that separates you and your race from all other races. That's basically what it means. Alright, so I'm first grab First Corinthians. Salakia, grab it. First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. And it says, let all things, not some things, let all things be done decently and in order, because that's how the Most High created things. The proper way, there's a proper way of things being created. It's a proper way things are supposed to run. All right, that's why you have the water cycle. All right, things don't just happen. There's a way that things was created to happen. All right. And that's why you have also the food chain. All right. The Most High created all of these things. All right, and he set humans, mankind, all right, above, to be on top of the food chain. Okay. So from there, I'm gonna go to Genesis 10. Genesis 10, verse 5. And this is going back to creation. Matter of fact, I'm going to do Genesis 10 starting from 1. And then I'm going to jump down. Genesis 10 and 1. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, right? So this is after the flood, after Adam and Eve, after Cain and Abel. All right? The Most High passed great judgment on the face of the earth, destroying all of mankind besides Noah, his 3 sons, and each of them had one wife. It says, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Right. So then it gets into how what sons were born to each one of these sons. Okay, and I'm gonna jump down to the point, verse 5. It says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles, which Gentiles is twofold. But the Gentiles here is talking about actual foreigners. It says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations. So the Most High created the nations. All right. Most High created all of the nations, and divided the different groups of humans. So that's the point, which is determined by your father. So that's why anytime you see any type of genealogy in the scriptures, it always follows the fathers, the line of the fathers, not the line of the mothers. Unlike in America, they teach you that your nationality is determined by your mother, or you have a such thing. It's called being mixed, where your nationality is determined by your mother and your father, that's not scriptural. That's not approved by the scriptures. The Most High didn't make it that way. So from there, I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Salakia 32, verse. Matter of fact, before I do that, I want to grab that Genesis. Grab that Genesis in a different translation. See what it says. Not that translation. Hold on. Genesis chapter 10 and 5. This is Deuteronomy, Salaki. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. And it says, the Lord shall cause thine enemies. No, Salaki, that's the wrong one. That's 28. Deuteronomy 32 and 7. It says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Right. And that's where you get the term, or the saying, you have to know where you've been to know where you're going, which is one of the things that guided me into believing in this truth, that guided me to acquiring this knowledge, and believing in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, all right? Because it tells you it tells you, it gives you a great idea of your place in life, your place on the face of the earth. All right, your purpose, which it teaches you what group of people you belong to. All right. Right. It says, remember the days of old. Right. That's history. That's all of the things that's to be known before you were born. Even when you think about I find it funny how you can you have thoughts stuck in your head from the time you were born up until whatever age you are now. You have thoughts that you can't forget, no matter how much you might try to forget them. And then then there's also thoughts that you may try to remember, but no matter how much you try to remember it, you just can't remember it. And that's the Most High controlling your thoughts, so that you can be able to determine what is it that he expects of you in this life. It says, remember the days of old, consider, and also, right, so then you look at your parents, because that's where you came from, and then you be able to determine why you look a certain way, why you act a certain way, so forth and so on. Right, you go into your grandparents and your great grandparents, and eventually you start to look at from a bird's eye view of your race of people, your group of humans, what group of humans you belong to. Salaki. All right, so back in Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee. Right. And that's what your father is set up for, to teach you about your history as far as your family and your people. Because families are just smaller groups of your nation. And that's why our people is fucked up today, because what's the scripture? Their leaders have erred, if I'm not mistaken, right? Our the fathers of our nation are supposed to be the leaders of our nation. All right? The leaders of our families, the protectors of our families. The men of our nation is supposed to be on the front line of our people. And what happened was our people was destroyed. Our people was destroyed in the hands of our enemies. We were separated by multiple different ways. All right. And the power was stripped from the men of our nation, and caused us to not be able to teach, lead, or protect the generations that came after us. All right. It says, ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. So the Most High is racist. All right. The Most High is racist. He doesn't deal with all nations of people. He only deals with the people that were born of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. All right. So I'm going to grab that in different translation. Deuteronomy 32 and it says, remember the days of old, consider the generations long past. Ask your father, and he will tell you, your elders, and they will explain to you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind. Right, so your father, the elders of your nation, is supposed to understand this history. All right, they were supposed to be able to tell you how the world was made, how the universe was made, how humans was set up over all of the animals, over everything on the face of the earth. How and why we're separate and different from animals, and not only that, how humans were separated into different groups. Your fathers, your elders are supposed to teach you that. It says, verse 8, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries, right, for the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. Right, boundaries is lines that separates one thing from another thing, and when you cross those lines, then that's when wars break out. When you break the rules, or even when you step into the territory, right, of another nation, that could start a war if it's not permitted for you to cross certain lines. When he divided all mankind, he set up the boundaries. He set up the boundaries for the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob, his allotted inheritance. Right. Let me see. This one more translation. This is the NLT. The other one was the NIV. This is the NLT. It says, remember the days of long ago. Think about the generations past. Ask your father, and he will inform you. Inquire of your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High assigned the lands to the nations, when he divided up the human race, he established the boundaries of the people according to the number in his heavenly court, which in the King James, it says the children of Israel, right? So that proves to you that the nation of Israel is a divine people, all right? It says, for the people of Israel belong to the Lord. Jacob is his special possession. He found them in a desert land, in an empty, howling wasteland. He surrounded them and watched over them. He guarded them as he would guard his own eyes, like an eagle that rouses her chicks and hovers over her young. So he spread his wings to take them up and carry them safely in his pinions. Right. So just like a mother eagle will protect its chicks, that's the same way that the Most High deals with the nation of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That's how he originally intended for things to be with us on the face of the earth. And that's how he will continue to deal with us in the future. But because what you have, it's being taught in the world that the Most High, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, they like to when you bring up the nation of Israel, they like to make that claim a lot, that the nation of Israel is done away with, and that there's a spiritual Israel that the Most High is dealing with, which God's name is not Jehovah, it's Yahweh. All right, and they say that they claim that there's a spiritual Israel, which can any nation can belong to, which is straight bullshit. When we bring up the 144,000, they say it's a spiritual 144,000. Well, how the fuck could you have a spiritual? If it's spiritual, why then how the fuck could you spiritually be from the tribe of Judah or from the tribe of Issachar? It doesn't make sense. It's all lies. So from there, I'm gonna grab Hosea. Grab this Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. It says, "My people," who's my people? The nation of Israel. "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Right. Our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge of who God is. Our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge of who we are, because our identity has been stolen away from us, and different identities have been placed on our people. All right, our people have been destroyed for lack of knowledge of history, of what our people went through. We forget that not too long ago we weren't even considered. We were not good enough. All right, to even be considered American citizens. All right, we weren't. Now we go by. I'm talking about the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Judah, particularly. They call us African Americans. All right, but before they called us African Americans, they called us Afro Americans, because we was rocking the afros. All right, they wasn't, and even though we came from Africa, they knew we was brought over here by cargo slave ships from Africa. They knew that we weren't originally from Africa, so it took them time to put that label of African American on us. But before African American, they called us Afro Americans. Before Afro Americans, they called us Negroes. Before Negroes, we was straight up niggas. All right, and we was considered 3/5 of a man. We was considered to be savages, animal like, closer to animals than to civilized humans. All right, so our people have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge of remembering what the fuck done happened in the past, man. All right, and that's why it says, remember the days of old, because that's how you remember your place on the face of the earth. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Right, which ultimately 2/3 of our people are going to continue to reject the knowledge of the scriptures, which holds the knowledge of our culture, our traditions, all right, so forth and so on. The knowledge of who the one true living God is, all right, and where we stand with that one true and living God. All right, I will also reject thee. Right, 2/3 of our people are gonna reject the knowledge of the scriptures. They're gonna reject being taught by the men of the Lord. All right, and eventually they're going to be marked physically by that micro C hip. All right, which is the mark of the beast according to the scriptures. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. And that's how our people wound up being dragged into slavery under the hands of the so-called white man. All right, because we were worshiping other gods. We were following the ways of these other nations. All right, and the Most High destroyed us. The Most High destroyed us, which he did multiple times in history, but this time being dragged to America as slaves, we've been destroyed past recognition. We don't even remember who it is that we are. In other captivities, like the Babylonian captivity, all right, the Persian captivity, certain captivities in the past, we always knew who we were. Even though we were Hellenized under the Greek captivity, there still was a portion of our people who held on to our traditions, our customs, our laws. All right, and wouldn't conform or what's the other word? Wouldn't convert to the ways of the Greeks. All right. But in this captivity, we've been destroyed how we never was destroyed before. Hosea. All right, that was it. All right, so from there I'm going to go to Exodus chapter 2. Salakia for my imperfection in speech. This is Exodus chapter 2, verse 11. It says, "And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren." Right, so Moses was from the tribe of Levi, all right, which is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. But he was raised up by the Egyptians. All right. But even though he was raised up by Egyptians, he knew what nation of people he belonged to. And so this is when he got older. It says, "And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens." He saw the oppression that the Egyptians was putting on the nation of Israel. "And he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and looked that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand." Right? And so the Most High didn't put him to death for this. He wound up running away to Midian. All right? And the Lord revealed himself to him through the burning bush. All right? And commanded him to go to Pharaoh and give him the message of let his people go. All right? And that's how you got the Passover, which is coming up. All right? And this is how the Most High exalted his name. All right, letting it be known of which power, what God by name was dealing with and protecting and guiding the nation of Israel. This was the Most High making it known, making it known through great miracles and destruction, all right, letting it be known who he was and what nation on the face of the earth he was dealing with. Okay? But what? Moses was a racist. Moses was for his race, all right? He was for his race, all right? And therefore he killed a member of another race because they were oppressing the brothers of his nation. This is Acts chapter 21. Acts chapter 21. Verse 37. It says, and as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto thee? Who said, canst thou speak Greek? Art not thou the Egyptian, which before these days madest an uproar, and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? Right, so this is an account when Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian, which proves that Paul was a dark-skinned man. All right, because that's another lie on the Bible or the nation of Israel. You have all types of illustrations, especially with them Jehovah's Witnesses. All of the magazines always portray who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, God, and basically everybody, almost everybody from the Bible, they portray them as being fucking crackers, man. All right, which is a bold-faced lie. If you could just do a simple thing, as do a simple thing and read for yourself, man. You read these scriptures for yourself, you can easily tell that tell the lies that are in these fucking religions, man. Which we don't believe in religion. Religion is man-made. We believe in the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High set. We believe in race, right? We believe in being for our race, belonging to a nationality. And when you try to get into that with the Jehovah's Witnesses, like my grandmother is a Jehovah's Witness. She's been a Jehovah's Witness all my life, but she's an Israelite. But you can't tell her that. She up in age. She probably in her 70s, 80s. I'm not even sure, but in her old age, she won't tell you what race of people she belongs to. When you ask her that, she said, "Oh, you prejudice," which she don't even know what she talking about. Because to be prejudiced, to prejudge, which I'm gonna get into, but she doesn't know what race of people she belongs to, and that's sad, man. That goes to show you how much we've been destroyed. All right. It says, I'm gonna read it again, verse 38. Are not thou that Egyptian which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? Verse 39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. Right, so Paul corrected him. He said, I'm not an Egyptian, I'm a Jew. All right, he said I'm a Jew, which to be a Jew at this time pertained to all 12 tribes of Israel. All right. Which at this time, the northern tribes were already on their way or already had fled to the Americas. All right. And the southern tribes, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, they were still around in the land. All right. But to originally be a Jew, you had to be from the tribe of Judah. Okay. So now what? Paul also was a Roman citizen. So he could have said that he was a Roman, but being as though he was a racist, all right, he was for his race and not for the race of any other people. He made it clear that he was not an Egyptian, all right, and he was an Israelite. This is Romans chapter 11. I'm going to start at 1. It says, I say then, have Yahweh cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So this is another scripture that proves that Paul was an Israelite, right? Which is determined by the seed of your father, all right? It says of the seed of Abraham, right? Because Abraham had Isaac. He also had Ishmael, which birthed the nation of the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, all right? But the promise of the covenant went to Isaac, and then it passed from Isaac not to Esau, but to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, all right? Of the tribe of Benjamin. Benjamin being one of the sons of Jacob, whose name changed to Israel. Like I said, it says, Yahweh have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not what the scriptures say of Elijah's, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel, right? So that's the point. The nation of Israel is not done away with, all right? And Paul was an Israelite. He was a racist. He was for his race. That's the point. Trying to keep it simple. Go to John chapter 4. Verse 9. It says, then said the woman of Samaria unto him, right? So this was a account when Yahweh Shah was thirsty, all right? And he was by a well which provides you with water, all right? And there was a woman there, all right? A Samaritan woman, all right? Which were a group of people that adopted ways of our people, the Israelites, all right? But no matter how much, that's the thing, no matter how much you may adopt or follow the ways of the nation of Israel, you still could never be an actual Israelite unless your bloodline determined by your father goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? Not Abraham, Ishmael, and Esau. All right? It says, then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest a drink of me? Right? And so she was calling Yahweh Shah a Jew, which he actually did. He actually did. He actually does belong to the tribe of Judah. All right. It says, "Ask us drink of me," which she didn't necessarily know that. She just knew that he was an Israelite and she was calling him a Jew. All right. "Ask a drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria, for the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans." Yahushua answered and said unto her, "If thou knewest the gift of Yahweh, and who it is that said to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water." All right, so that's the point. But I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna jump down to another point. It says, right, because the Samaritan woman realized that he was some type of prophet. All right, and so verse 19 says, "The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship." Yahushua said unto her, right? So this was her cleaving to the ways of our people. Yahushua rebuked her and said, Yahushua said unto her, "Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." Right. So he was telling her that in the future, her people weren't going to have this claim of being connected to our people, basically. All right. He let it be known that there was a difference between her people and our people. Our people know what it is that we're supposed to worship. We truly know about our law, statutes, and commandments. We truly know about our culture and our traditions. All right, and that her people were just trying to mimic without properly understanding all of the things that pertains to our nation. So Yahushua, who the world English calls Jesus Christ, he was a racist and still is for his race. Understanding that his race, our race, is the superior race on the face of the earth, designed by the Most High, Yahweh, and all other races or nations outside of our race are inferior, especially the so-called white man, the most inferior race on the face of the earth. And that's why they have inferior genes. That's why they have they produce the blonde hair, they produce the blue eyes. They have they lack pigment in their skin, because in every way of their makeup are they inferior, the most inferior race on the face of the earth. But they try to push that white supremacy shit and try to make it seem like they are the superior race on the face of the earth, which is a lie. So from there, I'm gonna go to Romans, back to Romans, chapter 9. Verse 13. It says, "As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated." Right? So the Most High loves Jacob and the nation that he birthed. All right? Which is the nation of Israel. And it says, "But Esau have I hated." But when it comes to Esau and the nation that he birthed, which is the nation of the Edomites, which is the so-called white man, he hates them. So the Most High, again, is a racist. Let me see what precepts they got right here. Deuteronomy 21. Let me check these out real fast. Salakia, bear with me. Deuteronomy 21. It says, Deuteronomy 21 and 15. All right. This is Deuteronomy 21 and 15. It says, thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations, but of the cities of these people, which the Lord thy God do give thee for an inheritance. So, how is the Most High going to give another land or city to our people as an inheritance? Unless if how can he do that if all nations of people belong? It doesn't have anything to separate them. All right, and that's why the Most High that's why he broke up the languages in the time of the Tower of Babel, because he's not with the New World Order, or all nations of people being one. All right. Thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth, but thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, as the Lord thy God have commanded thee. Right. So this was when he was leading our people to take over the promised land. All right. There was heathen nations living in the land that was promised to us as an inheritance. All right. And he told us to go against all of the races of people that was in the promised land and kill them. All right. That's racist. Let me see. Let me see this other precept real quick. I'm not trying to make this long, but it's all of the spirit, so just bear with me. Baba Kashah. All right, no, I don't want to get that. All right, so from there, I'm going to grab this Malachi. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Malachi chapter 1. Salakia. Malachi, chapter 1. I'm going to start from verse 1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi, right? The scriptures is always referring to the Israelites. The scriptures, the Holy Bible, the whole book is a story on how the Most High Yahweh created everything in existence and how he set up the nation of Israel to rule over all things, all peoples, all right? And it tells you the history on how the Most High has dealt with us, how he set us up, all right? And how he will deal with us in the future. The whole Bible is only for the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Verse 2, it says, I have loved you, said the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? And this is the proof on how the Most High loves us. It says, was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord, yet I love Jacob. Right. He chose our nation to be a special people unto himself rather than the other nation, the twin brother nation, right? Which he easily could have made to be a special people unto himself. But not only did he make our nation a special people unto himself above all other nations, he could have still loved the nation of Esau or the Edomites, the so-called white man, but no, he said he hated Esau. It says, was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. And that's the ultimate future of the nation of the Edomites. All right. First of all the lands that the Edomites inhabited in the ancient times, they're not there anymore. All right. And it's like a wilderness. But now the main portion of land, which is America, which is referred to as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, this place, the main the main headquarters, right, of this same race of people is going to be totally destroyed by thermonuclear bombs and the weapons of the so-called UFOs, which are the chariots of God, according to the scriptures. All right. The Most High is going to destroy this place and turn it into a desert. All right. So let me grab one more time. Salakia. Okay. I'm thinking from verse 4. It says, the people of Israel, theirs is the adoption, the sonship, theirs the divine glory, the covenants, the receiving of the law. This what separates us from all nations of people. We were given the laws. We were given the promises. The covenants was established with us. All right. The covenants, the receiving of the law, the temple worship, and the promises. Theirs are the patriarchs, which is the fathers of nations, right? Theirs are the patriarchs, and from them is traced the human ancestry of the Messiah, who is God over all, forever praised. Amen. This is the NIV. It says, amen. It is not as though God's word had failed, for not all who are descended from Israel are Israel, right? Nor because they are his descendants are they all Abraham's children, right? Because Abraham didn't only have Isaac, which who the promises went to, he also had Ishmael, but they weren't chosen to be for the covenant to be passed to them. Nor because they are his descendants are they all Abraham's children. On the contrary, it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. Right? See? Isaac, not Ishmael. In other words, it is not the children by physical descent who are God's children, but it is the children of the promise who are regarded as Abraham's offspring. Straightforward, clear-cut proof. For this was how the promise was stated. At the appointed time, I will return, and Sarah will have a son. Not Rebecca. Sarah was the son of Isaac. Oh shit, I'm tripping. Sarah was the mother of Isaac, Salakia. Sarah was the mother of Isaac, and Hagar was the mother of Ishmael, Salakia. That's Satan. It says, for this was how the promise was stated. At the appointed time, I will return, and Sarah will have a son. Not only that, but Rebekah's children were conceived at the same time by our father Isaac, right? So Rebekah was the mother of Jacob and Esau. All right. And but it says yet before the twins were born or had done anything good or bad, in order that God's purpose and election might stand, not by works, but by him who calls, she was told, the older will serve the younger. And who was the older? The older was Esau, which birthed the nation of the Edomites, which is the so-called white man today. All right. And that hasn't happened yet. The older hasn't served the younger, which is our nation. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the 12 tribes of Israel, whose forefather is Jacob. That's going to happen in the future. All right. For 1,000 years will the nation of the Edomites serve the nation of the Israelites. It says, just as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau I hated. What then shall we say? Is God unjust? Not at all. All right, so that's it. Salakia for stretching that out. Genesis 17. Genesis 17, chapter 1. It says, and when Abram was 90 years old 99, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God, walk before me and be thou perfect, and I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. It says, and Abram fell on his face, and Yahweh talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Right? Because you had the nation of the Ishmaelites, the nation of the Israelites, and the nation of the Edomites come out of Abraham. All right. It says, neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. I will be their God. And Yahweh said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. Right. So this the covenant went straight to Isaac, not to Ishmael, all right? And then from Isaac to Jacob, not to Esau. Okay? That's racism. Even though many nations came out of Abraham, it was only one nation that was chosen for the promises and the covenants and the giving of the law to go to. So I'm going to go back to Exodus. Chapter 2. Exodus chapter 2, verse 23. And it says, and it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And that's what our people is doing now, because America also is known as Egypt, modern day Egypt, because that's where you get 365 days in a year from. All right. You got the all types of opalises over here in America on top of your houses. It's primarily that pyramid. You see that pyramid shape. All right. In multiple different ways is America spiritually Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon, Rome. Okay. It says, verse 24, and Yahweh heard their groaning, and Yahweh remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. Right? It doesn't say Abraham and Isaac and Ishmael and Jacob and Esau. No. The Most High is racist. It says, and Yahweh looked upon the children of Israel, and Yahweh had respect unto them. Right, so the Most High ultimately has a respect for the nation of Israel. All right? Right now we in a bad case, all right. But what? The elect, beginning with the 144,000, and 1/3, which is a portion of the 1/3 chosen to be saved and to be a part of the great demolition and reconstruction of the earth. All right. And 2/3 of our people are gonna die off in the process of the destruction. In one of the ways of the destruction, whether it be thermonuclear bombs, whether it be Jacob's trouble, all right, being killed by the sword, being killed by wild beasts, being killed by disease, or being killed by one of the laser beams from the chariots, or by one of the men of the Lord. Once they got spiritual powers, they might just be killed that way. All right. And then they're going to be reborn through the 1/3 that will be saved from the destruction. All right. But this was talking about old Egypt, just to clarify that. Psalms 147. Psalms chapter 147 and 19. And it says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the most. And so therefore, only the nation of Israel can truly be sinners. All right? Because the laws were given to our nation and we have yet to establish those laws on the face of the earth. In fact, those laws have been taken, used, perverted, and changed for the will of these other foreign Gentile nations, heathen nations. All right. They've been changed. All right, now, originally, according to the laws of the Most High, homosexual, bisexual, transgenders, all of them are supposed to be put to death. All right, but in this world, it's lawful to be a part of the alphabet, the alphabet game, the LGBT, whatever, however the fuck you say that shit. It's okay. Then not only that, you got different laws in different states. That's not how the Most High created things to be. All right. He created a certain amount of laws, and that's it. That's it. They're not to be changed. They're not to be added to or taken away from. You're not supposed to add to the law. You're not supposed to take away from the laws, right? The laws are the laws, all right? And they're supposed to govern each and every last place on the face of the earth. But it wasn't meant for any other nation to lay down the laws of God on the face of the earth. It was only intended for our nation to receive those laws and to enforce those laws amongst all other races of people. Give me Amos. Salakia. Give me Amos chapter 3. Verse 1 says, hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Right? So this is racism, a clear-cut case of racism. The Most High, if the Most High wasn't a racist and didn't approve of racism, then why wouldn't he give the laws to all nations of people at one time? It's because, going back to that first Corinthians, let all things be done decently and in order. That's the way that the Most High deals with a proper order and structure of things. All right. And he deals with a hierarchy, all right? And this is the main thing that separates humans from animals. This is the main thing that separates the nation of Israel from all other nations of the world. From there, give me Deuteronomy chapter 7. Verse 6, it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And then he's going to do that again. All right. He's going to free our people from being slaves. All right. And that's why nothing that our people have done to try to gain rights or free us from the conditions in which we're living in has worked, because the Most High is the one that will receive that glory. All right. Through his son, whose name is Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and the 144,000 of the nation of Israel. All right. So from there, we go to Matthew chapter 1. Matthew 1. Verse 1, it says, the book of the generation of Yahushua HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren, right? So this is the genealogy, this is the family tree, this is the bloodline of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And if you notice, it's going from father to it's going from father to son, from father to son. All right. Verse 16, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahushua, who is called Hamashiach. Right? Now I'm going to jump from there to verse 21. It says, and she shall bring forth a son. This is the birth of Yahushua. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people, not all people, from their sins. Right? He shall save his people from their sins. So that's racist. He's not saving all races of people. All right. He's only saving his people, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, from their sins, because they are the only nation of people that can truly sin, because the laws were only given to them, not the rest of the nations. So from there, I want to go to Acts chapter 5. Acts chapter 5, verse 30. It says, the God of our fathers raised up Yahushua, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Right. And so this is why our people are the ones known for being hung on trees, because that's a sign of us being the same people that being the same people of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Now this scripture, it could have easily, the Most High could have had it put in here as who was killed on a cross. But no, it says whom ye slew, who ye killed and hanged on a tree. Because what? The cross is made out of wood. Wood come from trees. All right. This is, the Most High is the best rapper ever. All right. He has the greatest parables ever. All right. And if you have understanding spiritually, with your spiritual eye, you automatically gonna imagine who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ as being the same people that was hung on trees across the four corners of the earth, especially here in America. All right, this is why our people was treated so cruelly, because originally well, even still to this day, the elites, especially back then, knew that we were God's chosen people. That's why they stole our identity. That's what, so that we would, for a long time, be lost and confused about, or not even question, what race of people we belong to. That's how much we were destroyed, and that's why we were destroyed. All right, because Esau, the so-called white man, they knew what race they belonged to. They knew that they belonged to the nation of the Edomites. They knew that their birthright was taken away from them, and their birthright was given to our nation, our race. All right, and it said, according to the scriptures, their race, their nation, beginning with their forefather Esau, has always had a great hatred for our people because of the taking of their birthright, which was the Most High's plan even before they were born. Okay? And so that's why they not only have they waged war with us, they also have waged war with the Most High himself, and trying to take the position of being God himself. That's why you got cameras everywhere. Only the Most High is supposed to have the power to be able to see all things in all places. All right? That's why they have plans. That's why they have something called the census, where they want to number and know exactly how many people is on the face of the earth. The scriptures is against that. That's why they plan on implanting everybody with that micro chip, which is the mark of the beast according to the scriptures. All right, because through that technology can they locate, track, and control the way that all people on the face of the earth will live. All right. They will be able to identify who's their enemies and who is their slaves. All right, because back in slavery, they branded their property. They branded. They put markings. They burnt markings on their property, just like they do animals. Okay. And so the Most High is going to destroy them from off of the face of the earth after serving 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. And I mean hardcore slavery under the hands of the 12 tribes of Israel. So from there, and also that's why that was why who the word English calls Jesus Christ was killed on the cross. All right, because he was first of all, spiritually he was set up as the ultimate sacrifice to take away the sins of our people, but physically, carnally, he was coming up against the Roman Empire. All right, which was the empire that was in rule of the world, of the known world at the time. All right, the strongest empire at the time. All right. Yahweh Shah was bringing the gospel, saying that this world and all nations that's running this world will fall, be destroyed. All right, and his kingdom will be established after that and rule forever. All right, that was treason, and that's the same thing that the men of the Lord, all right, the hopeful elect, is doing now. They're coming up against modern Rome, okay, and prophesying, telling the people that not only is this world, all the governments of this world is gonna fall and be destroyed totally, and the kingdom of Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is going to be established on earth forever after that. Following suit behind Yahweh Shah. Give me 2 Chronicles 7. 7 and 14. It says, this 6. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, which only the 144,000 and 1/3 population of the nation of Israel will do. All right. Only 1/3 of our people, of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, will pray, seek the face of the Most High, and turn from their wicked ways. It says, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Right. So that's the point. The Most High is a racist, all right? And the Most High, and that's why the Most High is only going to save our race once we repent. Once we repent and the elect is sealed. All right. So now I want to grab the definition of, and just for, let me see, race. It says, a group of persons related by common descent or heredity, It says of no. That's it. Races. Read that again. It says a person who believes in racism, the doctrine that one's own racial group is superior. Right. And so our racial group, the 12 tribes of Israel, are superior, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others, and all other racial groups outside of the 12 tribes of Israel are inferior, especially the racial group of the so-called white man. Now, so it's permitted for us to be racist, but not prejudice. All right? Prejudice. It says an unfavorable opinion or feeling formed beforehand or without knowledge, thought, or reason. Right? So this is another word for prejudice is to prejudge, is to judge a person based on nothing, basically, which the so-called white man is known for. All right, all of that violence and oppression that was put on our people ultimately was the will of the Most High. All right, but on a carnal level, we would be judged just for having pigment to our skin, and it doesn't even matter what race of people you belong to. All you can even your bloodline can even go back to the so-called white man. Your father could be a white man, but your mother could be a so-called black woman, and so you would be dark skinned, but you would still be so you would be dark skinned, but you would really you would really be a so-called white man, and you will be treated like a so-called black man. All right, or the Chinese people. A so-called white man could lay down with a so-called yellow man, a so-called yellow woman, right? Because that's the color that they put on Moab. All right, they call them yellow, right? So you could have features. You could your father, your bloodline could go back based upon your father to the so-called white man. All right, the nation the Edomites. But if you got slanted eyes, you look Chinese. Basically, they would treat you like a so-called a yellow man. All right, so that's prejudice, which is not permissible according to the scriptures, because what the seed of the nation of Israel has spread it and mixed with all of the nations on the face of the earth. All right, so no, you can't judge a person based on their skin, based on their features. All right, you gotta fill out their spirit. Okay, you have which takes for you to ask them questions, to know them, to get to know them to a certain degree. All right, and whether they hear or forbear, right? You teach them the truth, whether you know, and if they gravitate to the truth, then when the Lord set his judgment on the face of the earth, then he's gonna sift and separate the wheat from the tares, those who truly belong to the nation of Israel, and those who don't truly, whose bloodline doesn't truly go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so I'm gonna grab a couple scriptures real fast. This already stretching out, Salakia. So I'm gonna try to hurry up. Put that back up there. And this is John. Go to John. Chapter 5. Verse 13. No, verse 30, Salakia. It says, I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, meaning justified, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which have sent me. Right. So that's the proper way of judging. You gotta know the will of the Most High. All right, and the will of the Most High is to not put no other gods before Him, to love Him with all your heart, and by doing so, you're gonna keep the laws and the statutes and commandments to the best of your ability, rehearsing the righteous acts and judging according to His will and not nothing else. All right. John chapter 7. John chapter 7, verse 24. It says, judge not according to the appearance. And this is Yahweh Shah speaking. All right. Right. And that was Yahweh Shah speaking in John 5 and 30. Right. So so Yahweh Shah says he does not. He says, I can of my own self do nothing, right? Because he know that he was set up to do everything that he did and everything he will do from the Father. All right, whose name is Yahweh. Salaki 7 and John 7 and 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Right. So that's straightforward. You're not supposed to judge just based on what you think about a person because of how they look to a certain degree. All right, which I'm gonna get into that. James. James Salakia. James chapter 2, verse 1. It says, my brethren, have not the faith of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, representing clothes that look good, all right, such as IURC, right? They got the garments that look good, all right. That might cost us, they might cost a certain amount of money, all right. Their outward appearance is, it looks good, right? Opposed to, men who don't really care about how their garments look, all right. As long as they got the border of blue and the fringes, it might look raggedy, all right. It says, for if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool, right? Because one man has on clothes that look good, he has a better outward appearance than the other man, you gonna treat the man with the better outward appearance better than the man without the better outward appearance. That's off, all right? That's prejudging, all right? It says, are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not Yahweh chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith and hires of the kingdom which he had promised to them that love him. Right. And so that's why people have a difficult time believing that the men of the Lord, that the Most High, the true one living God, all right, is dealing with the men that's out there on the highways and byways without the that don't have a nice outward appearance, okay? Because they prejudge, man, and that's why women they don't like they find it difficult to listen and follow under the order of their men rather than the government, all right, or people with a certain level of power or money in this world, man, because they think that you have to have a certain amount of success, you have to have a certain look to follow, for them to follow your instructions, all right? They can't see the Most High blessing. They can't see the blessing, a person being blessed, being in a poor state, all right? Which the greatest way of being blessed is to have for the Holy Spirit to be dealing with you, all right? I'm gonna grab this in a different translation. See what it says. This is James chapter 2 in the NIV. It says, my brothers and sisters, believers in our glorious Lord Yahushua Mashiach, must not show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in filthy old clothes also comes in. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and say, here's a good seat for you, but say to the poor man, you stand there or sit on the floor by my feet, have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my dear brothers and sisters, has not Yahweh chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised those who love him? Right, so that's the point. Keep that up there, because what? This is the future. This is the future of the so-called white man, right? We the planet of the apes. All right, the apes represents you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They actually called us porch monkeys and savages and animals and all those types of beasts, all those type of things. But what? The future of the nation of the so-called white man, is them going into fucking slavery, hardcore slavery, all right, being locked in fucking chains by their neck, by their feet, by their hands, all right, and doing exactly what the fuck we tell them to do, man. This is part of the good news that this who the world enemy calls Jesus Christ has brought to us through these scriptures. Just a couple more scriptures and I'll be done with this. Grab 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel 16. 1 Samuel 16. Right. First Samuel 16. And this was when Saul was when the Lord had took the spirit from Saul, all right, and was bringing him out of power, all right. He was the king of Israel. He was bringing Saul out of power, and he was raising up David after him, all right. First Samuel chapter 16. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. Right? And jumping to the point, it says where is that? Okay. All right. So, Jesse had a couple sons, right? And I'm gonna jump to what is it? Verse 4. It says, and Samuel did that which the Lord spoke, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming. Right, because what? They knew Samuel, the Most High, was dealing with Samuel. All right, they knew that Samuel was the prophet that the Most High was dealing with at the time. It says, which what the prophet is the one that comes and brings the messages directly from the Most High. All right, whether it's a good message, all right, or a bad message, whether it's for your destruction or for bringing you up, for raising you up or bringing you down. It says, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, comest thou peaceably? Right? And he said, peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. So soon as Samuel looked at one of the sons of Jesse, which his name was Eliab, if I'm pronouncing that right, he automatically judged him. He prejudged him and thought that this was the son that the Most High was going to choose to be the second king. And what did the Most High say? It says, and it came to pass. No, verse 7. It says, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, meaning his outward appearance. Look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, right? He probably had a certain height to him. He probably was tall as hell. All right. Looked at like from a man's perspective what a king should look like, right? It says, because I have refused him, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart, right? So then he went through all of his sons, all right? I'm gonna jump down here to verse 10. It says, again Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel, and Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord have not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance. He was a pretty boy, basically, and goodly to look to, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. And so that began the story of David. All right, I'm gonna grab that in the NIV real quick. Real quick, and I'm gonna just grab these points, right? Which is what is it? Where was it at? Verse 6. When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed stands here before the Lord. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Right? And then jumping down to verse 10. Jesse had seven of his sons pass before Samuel, but Samuel said to him, the Lord has not chosen these. So he asked Jesse, are these all the sons you have? There is still the youngest. Jesse answered, he is tending the sheep. Samuel said, send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives. Verse 12. So he sent for him and had him brought in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. This is the one. Right. So that's the point. Samuel prejudged the first son, Eliab, and automatically thought, because he looked it like a king, according to the way man think, that he was the one that the Most High was going to set up to be king. But the Most High set up David, which was the youngest, the smallest, the prettiest, right, of which, right, to be a pretty boy, you automatically, or to be handsome, to have some type of handsomeness, according to man, to yourself, you automatically considered to be soft or weak. All right, and which is not characteristics that goes along with being a king. All right, but the Most High saw something in David that no man could see within him. All right, and David wound up being one of the mightiest men, one of the mightiest kings of the nation of Israel. Right, going up against versus Saul. Right, that's why Saul and David got into it, because ultimately it was the will of the Most High. But that's why Saul hated David, because the women when Saul would go to war, they would say, oh, Saul killed, roughly paraphrasing, thousands and thousands of men. But then when they spoke about David going to war, they said, oh, David killed tens of thousands of thousands. All right, so from there, I'm gonna grab this account in Susanna, and I'm not gonna read this whole thing. All right, and I'm gonna read it in the, what is this? In the New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. All right, I'm gonna read a little bit, but not the whole thing. It says, Susanna. It's one chapter, all right? And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is 63 verses, right? You can read it yourself. All right. It says, there was a man living in Babylon whose name was Joachim. Joachim, he married the daughter of Hilkiah, named Susanna, a very beautiful woman and one who feared the Lord. Her parents were righteous and had trained their daughter according to the law of Moses. They raised her right. Joachim was very rich and had a fine garden adjoining his house. The Jews used to come to him because he was the most honored of them all. That year, 2 elders from the people were appointed as judges concerning them. The Lord had said, wickedness came forth from Babylon, from elders who were judges who were supposed to govern the people, right? And it's gonna get into what I was saying. It says these men were frequently at Joachim's house, and all who had a case to be tried came to them there, right? So these were men that were set up to be judges, right? And when you think of in this world, when you think of a judge, you automatically, most people, carnal people, they automatically think that they're going to pass righteous judgments, all right? Which, not considering that all men are liable to being corrupt, all right? Which you had that happen all the time, all right? And a cop may even tell you that. A cop may even tell you that because they're judges on a low level, right? They'll tell you when like you see it on movies and stuff, right? They'll tell you who you think the judge gonna believe. You think the judge gonna take your word with the word of a criminal over the word of a cop or the word of a prosecutor or a judge, all right? And in our reality, they're right when it comes to this world and how this world does things nowadays. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but in our reality, you're guilty before proven innocent. All right, under certain claims, under most cases. All right. So this was the case with these judges. They were set up to be judges over Israel, but they were corrupted. And when you read it, it tells about how they became peeping toms. That's the reason why they kept going to Joachim, however you say his name, Joachim's house. They kept going over there because he had a pretty wife, and they started lusting over him so much that they forgot the laws of the Most High. They forgot righteousness. All right, and then what? It tells how they secretly, the two judges, they secretly would keep their eye on Susanna, all right, and they wouldn't tell each other. But then one day something happened, and they realized that they both had they both felt the same way about Susanna. They both were lusting over Susanna, and so they teamed up, all right, and they did some wicked shit, man. They ran down on when the opportunity presented itself. They hid in the bushes. They was on some peeping Tom shit. They watched which the garden was a part of the house of Joachim, but it had the garden was inside, not outside. So when everybody had left one day, Susanna, she wanted to wash up in the garden, which was supposed to be enclosed, and she sent away her maids for something or whatever. And then these two judges, they went pressed up on Susanna and told her basically to have sex with them on some threesome shit, on some gay shit. All right, to have sex with them, or they was trying to extort her, or they was gonna go and tell the people that she was with another man, that they caught her with another man, and get her put to death, because to be a hoe, all right, unlike today, um the consequences of being a hoe is to be put to death. That's one thing our people don't play around with, or didn't play around with. You still see that in multiple countries across the four corners of the earth. Hoes get put to death, man. All right, women and men committing adultery get put to death. All right, so but what? How did Susanna react? She said, "Man, fuck that. Y'all gonna have to just try to put me to death, and y'all gonna have to lie on me, because I'm not about to. I rather die than sin in the eyes of the Most High, man. All right, then break the laws of the Most High. All right." She had faith that the Most High was gonna deal with her, how he saw fit. All right, so I'm jumping down to the point, right? Right. Susanna, verse 22. Susanna groaned and said, "I am completely trapped. For if I do this, it will mean death for me. If I do not, I cannot escape your hands. I choose not to do it. I will fall into your hands rather than sin in the sight of the Lord." Right? And that's the spirit that you got to have on you, especially entering the times that we entering it into. Right? You got to be willing to die rather than taking that micro C hit, which is the mark of the beast according to the scriptures. Or really partaking in any sin, which we can't keep the laws perfectly, but you don't want to willfully sin. You don't want to say, we under mercy and we could eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, lay with any woman, regardless if she got a husband, or still, like, you can't do that. You got to try to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, even if it means death. All right, so she refused, and then what? The elders did what they said they was going to do. They called witnesses, all right, and lied and said that she was that they caught her with a man before they could. They tried to grab him, but he was too strong or something like that, and he escaped. He got away or whatever, and being as though they were in position of power as judges, the people automatically took their word over hers. All right. And when it was time for for the judgment to be set on her, verse 34, it says, "Then the two elders stood up before the people and laid their hands on her head. Through her tears, she looked up towards heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. The elders said, while we were walking in the garden alone, this woman came in with two maids, shut the garden doors, and dismissed the maids. Then a young man who was hiding there came to her and was intimate with her. We were in a corner of the garden, and when we saw this wickedness, we ran to them." Jumping down. Right. So this the point right here, right? but she would not tell us. These things we testify. So that was the end of their testimony. It says, because they were elders of the people and judges, the assembly believed them and condemned her to death. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O eternal God, you know what is a secret and aware of all things before they come to be. You know that these men have given false evidence against me, and now I am to die, though I have done none of the wicked things that they have charged against me. The Lord heard her cry just as she was being led off to execution. Yahweh stirred up the Holy Spirit of a young man named Daniel, and he shouted with a loud voice, I want no part in shedding this woman's blood. All right. And I'm gonna read a little bit more. It says, and the people turned to him and asked, what is this you are saying? Taking his stand among them, he said, are you such fools, O Israelites, as to condemn a daughter of Israel without examination and without learning the facts? Return to court, for these men having given false evidence against her. Right? And there was no real way of proving this and knowing this. This was all through the Spirit. The Lord put the Holy Spirit on him to know that these men was fucking lying, man. That these judges were lying and were wickedly trying to justify their wickedness by lying on her and having her put to death. All right. And ultimately what? And also what? He knew everybody knew that Joe her father was a righteous man, and that if this was her daughter, she was raised to know better than to do something like this. Right? She would know that if she really did commit this sin, that she would be put to death. All right. And so what wound up happening, when I finished reading it, Daniel had separated the two judges and asked them a question. They both didn't say the same thing, and so that's how it was proven that she was innocent and that they were lying. They were lying on her, and the sentence that was put on her was put on them. They was the ones that was put to death. All right. All right. So from there, put this back up. Just two more scriptures, and I'll be done with that. Salakia. Sirach 11:7. So we can't prejudge. Being racist, we're supposed to be racist, but we're not supposed to be prejudiced. Sirach 11:7. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. So that's the proper way of judging. You don't just judge based on what a person look like or their skin color. All right. You're supposed to get an understanding of a matter, of a case first, and then properly judge. All right. And that's, you're supposed to get evidence, and you're supposed to get evidence and then prove your case. All right. Whether a person be guilty or innocent. All right. According to the scriptures. But there are cases where you can kind of prejudge. All right. And I'm going to grab it. Sirach chapter 19, verse 29. It says, a man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding, right? You have to have understanding. The Lord has to been dealing with you and have your senses exercises, like the scriptures say, to a certain degree for you to be able to kind of sort of prejudge. All right. Which, and it's not even really prejudging. It says, a man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding by his countenance when thou meetest him. Right? You gotta you have to meet him. All right. It says a man's attire, what he's wearing, and excessive laughter and gait show of what he is. Right. So men of understanding, they know how to judge a person. All right. The first thing that they might go off would probably be how a person look. All right. If a motherfucker sagging his pants, smell like a bunch of weed, or they might be smoking weed, smoking cigarette. All right. A fucking boom box, holding up a boom box, a radio up on their shoulders. All right. Dressed in nigga attire, more 9 times out of 10, you could talk to that person, and there may be instances where this person may repent from their sins, but your first judgment, and more than likely you will be right that this is a nigga, this is a person who hasn't repented from their sinful ways yet. All right. Another example is faggots, man, gay, homosexuals, bisexuals, right? Transsexuals, man. Like, you know, if a motherfucker look gay, they dressing on like they on some gay shit. You know that they're a man, but they are carrying themselves as a woman, or they might even have certain changes to their body to where as though they got titties and shit. At the end of the day, it's not really a prejudgment. They're letting it be known what they are, right? That's why they say if it look like a duck, it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a fucking duck. All right, so that's like the only case where you could like prejudge, but it's not really prejudging because the person has did things to their outward appearance to us that they want you to know what type of person they are on the inside. All right, so I'm gonna grab this definition one more time. Prejudice, an unfavorable opinion or feeling formed beforehand or without knowledge, thought, or reason, right? Which is not permitted for us to do according to the scriptures. To be racist is okay, but being prejudiced is not okay. So with that, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakadash once again. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and all other elders that belong to other camps that teach the same thing. Salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth. In the sincere spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Shalom.